What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to check out the newest superstar in Dunk City Dynasty. If you haven't seen or heard about it yet, the Claw, Kawhi Leonard, has already been released in DCD a few days ago, and he is probably one of the best wing players that you can get in the game. Now in this video, we are going to compare Kawhi to other superstar wing players to see if he is worth the resources to acquire and upgrade in DCD. But before we do that, let me first give you an overview on Kawhi's skills and capabilities. So first and foremost, Kawhi is probably one of the best two-way players in DCD as of the moment. He has a decent offensive arsenal and a very strong defensive talent. Now, if you're wondering, why did I say he only has a decent offensive game? This is because Kawhi is not really built as a primary scorer in the game. A lot of Kawhi fans might be disappointed with that, but the Claw is mainly used as a secondary scorer in high-ranking games. The main reason why he is not really a good first option is because his offensive skills are quite shallow and are very predictable and easy to defend, especially against experienced and coordinated players. His main offensive talents are a spin fadeaway and a power slam, which, if I'm being honest, is not really that hard to defend, especially once players get a hang of the directions his spin moves are going. At the same time, his power slam is not really hard to block, as I've already caught a few of them whenever I'm facing a Kawhi player. With that being said, that doesn't mean that Kawhi is not a good player in DCD. That is actually the contrary, as Kawhi's biggest value is on the defensive side of the floor. His defensive talents are very strong, which makes him a top-tier player in the actual patch in DCD. His main defensive strength is stealing the ball from the opposing player, and this is where majority of his talents are all about. In addition to that, Kawhi is a great counter to the ISO-heavy players like SGA, Dwayne Wade, and so on. This is because the longer that you have the ball, the higher the chances that Kawhi can successfully steal it from that player. It gets even more intimidating when a crosshair appears in the opposing player's body, letting them know that Kawhi has already seen their flaws, and the chances of him stealing the ball becomes a lot higher. In addition to his strong defensive talents, he also has two ultimate moves, one for the offensive and one for the defensive end of the floor. The offensive ultimate is his game-winning shot against the Sixers back in 2019, when he made an incredible shot against Joel Embiid. However, this ultimate is quite expensive, as it requires 1.5k energy in order to use it in the game. On the other hand, his defensive ultimate, which is called the Claw, allows him to steal the ball from the opposing player. In my opinion, this is a lot better than the offensive ultimate since it only requires 800 energy in order to use in the game, which is basically half of what the offensive move requires. At the same time, if you use this ult correctly and get a steal in the crucial moments, it can definitely change the momentum and flow of the game. But anyway, that's just a quick overview of the talents and capabilities of the Claw. So now, let's start with the comparison with other superstar wings in the game. The first one on our list is Kevin Durant. If we compare their stats side by side, KD is a lot better than Kawhi when it comes to scoring the ball. And rightfully so, because KD is one of the players in DCD who is designed to be a primary scorer in a lineup. However, when it comes to the defensive side of the floor, Kawhi has a huge advantage when it comes to the following stats: steal, block, contest, movement speed, consistency, and strength. The only other advantage that KD has are his rebounds. However, what really separates the two superstars are their talents in the game. Yes, KD has a lot more offensive talents than Kawhi, but that can also be said when it comes to the defensive side of the floor. In my personal opinion, the longer the game goes, players will eventually get used to the movements of KD, which is basically a left or a right side step and a dunk. I've already seen a lot of top-tier teams shut down KD using a zone defense, especially since he doesn't have a passing talent that can disrupt the other team's defensive scheme. However, that is not the case when it comes to Kawhi's defensive talents. Even now in the current patch in the advanced servers, he is still one of the best defensive specialists in most lineups. So if you ask me, who has the better longevity when it comes to DCD, I would go with Kawhi, because we will eventually get more scorers in the game. However, even if that happens, Kawhi's defensive talents and capabilities will remain elite. On to the next superstar small forward on our list, and that is LeBron James. Now, when we compare their stats side by side, we can clearly see that Kawhi is the better perimeter scorer than LeBron. LeBron's main advantage on the offensive side of the floor is his interior scoring, which is basically dunking the ball. He also has an advantage when it comes to his blocking, rebounding, passing, vertical, movement, and strength. However, what separates Kawhi from LeBron are his defensive talents and his outside shooting. We already talked about the defensive capabilities of Kawhi, so I will no longer reiterate those things. However, the reason why I prefer Kawhi over LeBron is because he's a better stretch option than James. In DCD, LeBron's outside shooting is quite inconsistent, and because of this, players tend to sag off from him on defense, allowing them to double team the primary scorer. This is also the reason why Jaren Jackson Jr. is often selected as the stretch wing in spacing lineups, because he is a better outside scorer than James. And this is also true with Kawhi, since he is a better outside shooter and has a better defensive talent that can be used against the guard and wing players of the opposing team. But again, these are only based on my personal experience and opinion in DCD. If you prefer to play KD or LeBron, feel free to do so. At the end of the day, players have their own preference when it comes to the players that they want to select in the game. Just enjoy and have fun. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the newest superstar in DCD Global? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, and if you want to see more DCD content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. GG!
You're a superhero.